Hello, lovely viewers. You are welcome to the Voice of the Youth. The Voice of the Youth, as you may be aware, is a program that is designed and produced by Media Productions Limited. The aim is to aid discussions that promote personal and national development of young people across this nation and beyond. We come to you every Monday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. We have so far engaged in very topical discussions that are promoting youth development and also national development. Today, we are going to look at a very social topic or a very social issue that I think, and we, the crew here, think that will go a long way to tighten our society and to help bridge the gap between some people who are struggling in our community and others who could help so that they all can have equal opportunities and contribute their quota in whatever way necessary. I know you are wondering what is that. We are here today to talk about head porters. Kayayes, as we usually call them. Head porters, which we call Kayayes, usually migrate from the northern part of Ghana to the southern part of Ghana, especially in Accra and Kumasi, so that they can engage in some menial jobs that will help them so that they can earn a living to take care of themselves and also to help their families back home. Because some of these young ladies are actually responsible people who are supposed to provide for their homes. So they are breadwinners and they are supposed to take care of themselves. And you know the amazing part, some of them are even single mothers. So I'm inviting you to join myself and our guests at the studio and via Zoom. Let us discuss the plight and the future of head porters that we refer to as Kayayes. And to do that, as I mentioned, I'll be joined with some guests and some via Zoom so that we can have a very thorough discussion. The amazing part of today's discussion is that one of my guests happened to be a former, if I should use the word former, she was a head porter, and she has managed, and by a scholarship, she went to the ASHESI University and graduated, and as we speak, she equally works at ASHESI University and handles an NGO that I will explain better when we come back from a commercial break. I just want to let you know that this program comes to you by Media Productions, and you can follow us on this page. Please stay tuned. When I come back from a commercial break, we'll start the discussion, and the phone lines will be announced for us to contribute, for you to contribute wherever you are. Please share the link and make a comment and be part of the Voice of the Youth.
The piano, the guitar, and drums, the trumpets available. You can learn sound engineering So come, for we meet specific music needs. Art Music Solutions School, we teach all the instruments, the piano, the guitar, and drums. The trumpets available, you can learn sound engineering. So come, for we meet specific music needs.
Contact us on 0303 400 435.
Music Solutions School, meeting specific music needs.
All of this, quality sound and video, all of this, yeah. All of this, wherever we dey go, you find us so we can light up the place, yeah. All of this, quality sound and video, all of this, yeah. All of this, wherever we dey go, you find us so we can light up the place, yeah.
Hello, lovely viewers. You are welcome back to the Voice of the Youth. As I mentioned earlier, we are here to discuss today the plight or the challenges and possible future for head porters that we refer to as Kayayes. As I mentioned earlier, I'm being joined by a guest, and two other guests will be joining us to do the discussion. Please, I would like to encourage you to share the link, comment, and invite someone to get online to follow this discussion and make a comment, send questions and contributions, and we'll be ready to respond to it. You should also be aware that we are live on YouTube, that's Mido TV, so you can follow us via any of these platforms. And don't forget to subscribe, share the link, and make a comment. You can call in via 030-2234-087 or 030-2233-021. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, you can send it via 050-2651-282, and we'll be ready to respond to any of your questions. This program is proudly supported by Acutech MSP. Acutech MSP is an IT company that has specialized in IT-related services. You can contact them anytime you need any of these services regarding or relating to IT. So thank you very much once again for joining. I'm waiting to listen to read your comments and listen to your views when you call as well. So let me just quickly introduce my guest in the studio. He has become one of my regular guests. So I've been joined in the studio by Fanuel Seligatpeto. As I mentioned, he doesn't want me to add a doctor to it. Fanuel is an entrepreneur beyond his professional job in the hospital. He's an entrepreneur and an exercise scientist. Fanuel, how are you doing?
By His grace, I'm well and do a little bit down on health, but I'm strong and I thank God for life.
Oh, we wish you speedy recovery, the speediest recovery,
Amen.
of course.
Sure.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very
again.
much.
So, Fanuel, as you are aware, we are going to discuss the challenges of head porters or Kayayes, and to find out if there is a possibility that they can secure a future of hope for them.
Yeah.
These head porters usually migrate from the northern part of Ghana in search for a job in the southern part of Ghana, mostly in Accra or Kumasi. Now, I want us to find out or to establish what are the causes, what are the main causes why these young ladies, some of them are even single mothers, migrate from their place of origin to the southern part of Ghana.
Yeah. So it's a great discussion, and I think if most media platforms would pick this discussion up, giving ourselves some years to come, we should start solving it and giving them a headway. Looking at generally the economical hardship of the country, how economically the country is not stable, and just opposing it with an individual or a youth that is coming up and wanting to build a life for himself or herself, that they could be able to, how do I even put it? They can also make a living, make ends meet, and then be able to fund themselves bread daily.
Okay.
They have to find a decent job.
Okay.
And using the word decent, and in this case, linking it to the head porter's job, I would want to say, looking at its present issues it's facing, because it's not an issue of our current state. It has been there years, decades back. But looking at it currently, and then how the world has developed and how our country has moved from years up to over 60 years, I think it's something that is worrisome, and we should be looking at it. That young mothers who want to make ends meet, especially who are single mothers, who have to fend for their children and themselves, need jobs that would pay them well. If we look at the economical setting of Ghana, most of this quote and unquote decent jobs are found, say, in the south, especially in Kumasi and in Accra. Yeah. So they living in the northern part of the country, where not to say there are no jobs, but not enough for most of them. You find out that are either uneducated or are dropped out of school at a particular time. And so therefore, which job in the northern part of the country can they find for themselves aside farming, which is the major work we know is done in the northern part of the country? So they want to move out to the southern part, which has been an issue of the past, where people think it is all rosy and there are a lot of jobs here in the southern part. So they migrate here to come and find themselves something that would fend for them and then their family. Because most of them, even aside being single mothers, even those who are not married have dependents. Their parents who can't really work. If you speak to some of them, they have other dependents. Some feel that if they didn't get the opportunity to further in education, they have younger siblings, they have to work and help get to that extent. So
coming to that, Dr. Fanuel, so you have underlined that there are no jobs at where they are. So of course, certainly, if there are no jobs and I have to feed for myself, I have to eat, I have to take care of other people that depend on me, I have to look for a job. Now, beyond the fact that there are really no job there in where they are, and also because some of them are not able to further their education that could have gotten them some job if they have the qualification. Do you think that there is something cultural or traditional, or let me say cultural, for which reason they have to leave their places and come to Accra? Is it that maybe they feel that they may get access to opportunities that are not available there? And just before you respond, viewers, I would like to inform that if all things work well, we are going to have the PRO of the Kayayie Association, the Head Porter Association, to join us online. And we are going to ask her some few questions, and she's going to tell us some of the challenges they go through. I mean, the Kayayie Association, or the Head Porters Association of Ghana, they have leaders and they have a PRO who will be speaking to us via a phone in. And so get ready to hear her voice, and then when she shares her thoughts with us, we'll pick some few issues from there and continue our discussion. So, Fanuel, beyond that, what are some of the things that you think push these young ladies to come to Accra? Could there be some cultural reasons?
You wouldn't be far from right, because let me start with the Ashantis per se. They are people who like to help themselves. So you get an Ashanti traveling out of the country and being able to make it there, and can live on a 3 daily meal. Would want to bring his brother or sister to join up so that they could all build a life and then build a family which is strong financially. So looking at the same scenario with this head porters, it is quite, should I say unfortunate that most of them are from the northern part of the country. And it's because those who preceded them came and could make a living, could go back and then give something back to those who are back in the village.
So about that point, so you meant to say that some of them, it's like there's a precedent.
Yes.
Or I saw my elder sister
Yes.
who had traveled to Kumasi,
Yes.
or who had traveled to Accra and was able to earn some money.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, because actually, if I've not been so much to them, but speaking to a few of them, they tell you that, oh, Minuabi, this is their statement. Oh, Minuabi Baha.
Okay.
So it's like, though the job is so risky, has a lot of health implication, they're able to make some okay amount of, let me use the word okay. The money they make is okay compared to them staying back in the north or in their homes,
Okay.
where they can't make anything to help themselves throughout the day.
Okay.
They are not able to make anything enough that can give them their 3 square meal a day.
Okay.
So if I'm able to make it, and even say a day, at the end of every day, if maybe the amount I'm making is 30 cedis,
Okay.
calculating it per 30 days, not so much, but it's better than zero. So if it's quite okay here, why don't I bring my sister or cousin who is also up there and not doing anything and still needs to make ends meet down here?
But in the midst of all these things, whilst there is a sister who had gone through and was able to make some amount of money to take care of her dependents, but in the midst of all these things, they face a lot of challenges.
Yes.
They face a lot. So I want us to look at what are some of the health challenges, especially you are a health personnel. What are some of the health challenges that you think that these female porters or Kayayes face?
Okay.
And and
So-
also from your background as a mentor, I don't know if you have encountered any of these people that you have to guide and mentor before. What are some of the health challenges they face?
Okay, so the human structure is built to be held by the bones, the skeletal system.
Okay.
And the spine is the core of it all.
Okay.
If the spine becomes weak, the human body becomes weak.
Okay.
And the spine is designed in such a way that it carries a particular load for every individual human being. So we talk about people who are obese, and then the fact of weight on the spine, which leads to a lot of disorders.
Okay.
It is the same way this head porters carry loads that the body can bear. Most often you see them in the market, they have to do this to survive.
Okay.
Irrespective of the challenges, they still have to do it. And they carry this load, and you look at how they are supposed to carry their body position, the posture in which they go, to be able to move the load from one point to the other. If they continue in that way, most of them, aside having their spinal cord going through degenerative health disorders, where spondylosis could be one, they could end up getting what they call as either the lumbar, the vertebra. It's quite a big word. I'll break it down.
If you can explain what you mean by the spondylosis, so that
spondylosis,
my followers can understand.
in our looking at our skeletal system,
Okay.
in between have these cartilages which protects the spinal system.
Okay.
So when they degenerate, when they through activities which are very intense that the body can't bear, but you force it to bear,
Okay.
they tend to wear off. And then this wearing off causes the bone to either press on some nerves or some of the muscles,
Okay.
and it causes pain at a particular part of the body. So the spine has divisions, the lumbar, the vertebra, and the thoracic, and all of it. So at a particular point, depending on where the pain you are feeling is, that pain it causes, that pain it takes you through is what we call the spondylosis. So at the particular point you feel the pain determines the name that is given to. So if it's at the lumbar region, it's called the lumbar spondylosis. So spondylosis is generally to say a degeneration of a portion of the skeletal system.
Okay.
So aside spondylosis, some of them could go through posture disorders like lordosis and scoliosis. That depends on the curvature the spinal cord take, whether it bends forwards, it bends sides from its normal state. The spinal cord is designed to be in the form of an S shape.
Okay.
But due to our activities, sitting posture, carrying of load, and all other activities of human, sometimes it ends up bending from its normal posture. So these are some of the health implications of carrying these loads day in and out throughout their life.
Okay, so at this point, I'm tempted to still call you Dr. Fano, you understand? So can you make this, especially the challenges you just talked about with the health implications? Maybe have a friend who is a Kayayie following, who does not really understand the big words you have used. Can you make it simpler for a Kayayie who is following to know that the more I carry these loads, especially in excess, these are the possible effects it will have on my life?
Okay, so let me start with issues of posture.
Okay.
Every human being is designed in a form, in a posture that is supposed to carry you from your day-to-day activity.
Okay.
But due to what we do, how we sit, how we sleep, how we stand, what we carry, and then the weight of our body, the posture in which our body is supposed to be in that straight form begins to deform. So sometimes you see people curving in.
I don't know if it is possible for my director, if it is possible so that I ask Fano or Dr. Fano to maybe stand. I don't know if it is to stand, but maybe that will be for another day's discussion. Yeah,
so the curvature the spine take determines what kind of posture disorder you have.
Okay.
So sometimes it curves in, sometimes curves out to the side, and then if it moves from its normal posture, which I said initially is in a form like an S, if it moves from there, then there's a disorder. So
basically what you mean is that when the load on a person is in excess,
yes,
it affects the spine.
It affects the spine because when they carry the load and it's more than what they can carry, they have to put their body in a posture that can move the weight. Okay,
so beyond that, beyond the spine being affected, what are some other health challenges?
Okay, so most of them comes with waist pain, which is very common amongst them, because how they carry the load from the ground to their head has also problems. There's a way where load that is more than your body weight should be carried, but they don't go through that form. It just have to be lifted from the ground to their head, and then they have to move to wherever it has to be delivered to. So they come with their waist problems, and the more it goes on, it gets to a point where some of them even at an age can't walk because of this continuous pain the body has absorbed over the years. So it gets to a point some would have to be, let me use the word paralyzed, because they can't move or movement becomes difficult. Aside these issues of disorders with the spine, where they sleep is a problem, and therefore they're exposed.
How does that?
Yeah, they're exposed to mosquitoes. We get malaria coming in. Most of them report malaria to the clinics and then the hospital. Malaria is one common illness you find among head porters. Aside that, the environment, when there's an outbreak of cholera, you find them reporting most of the cases, because the environment they live in, their children, mostly some just few meters away from gutters, there are shops, and they sleep in front of shops on the street. The environment is not conducive. Sometimes dust, because the environment is very dusty, they end up having issues with their lungs and other parts of the body. So they are exposed to lots of health risk than a normal individual who, we also get ill, but their exposure is very high than ours.
They are exposed to a lot of health risk. Viewers, we have been discussing so far some of the health challenges or the challenges that the head porters go through in their routine work as Kayayies, as we usually call them. So, and doctor also mentioned that beyond whatever they are supposed to do, because they are compelled to work hard, they suffer some spine challenges where he mentions sort of the spine remaining in the S shape, the pressure makes it rather take a different shape, and they also have waist pain, and they are exposed to a lot of unconducive environments, which sometimes ends up making them get malaria, or when there is a cholera outbreak, they get more of the cases. So these are some of the challenges that Dr. Fano has mentioned so far. I just want to remind you that this is the voice of the youth. and you are following us on Mido Productions Facebook page, and we are also live on Mido TV on YouTube. Please, I'm expecting to read your comments and your questions, and as they come in, I'll respond to them. My guests and I will respond to them. I also want to remind you that we'll be joined by Tenny Agana. Tenny Agana happened to be a Kayayie some years ago, but made it to school, and now she's doing well. So let us go back to Dr. Fanwell and let's continue. So Fanwell, you have outlined some of the health challenges that these people, our friends, our sisters, head porters feel. I want to find out that beyond the health challenges that you have mentioned, are there social problems they face?
Yes, there are a lot of social problems. Like I mentioned earlier, accommodation.
Okay.
This is one of the major problems. Shelter is not provided for them. I was reading something about the American system, how they are trying to curb streetism, those who find themselves homelessness. And they have this, what they call the shelter, where it's a home for people without houses to come and live in. And in most cases, they don't pay anything. You don't pay anything, but we don't have that such system in place here. We've tried with affordable housing, which I don't even think is affordable to a working class Ghanaian who receives a monthly salary. So accommodation is one of the biggest social problems they face. Aside that, years back there have been documentaries of the young porters, the very young ones, who get abused by the guys on the street, sexually, emotionally. Those are some of the abuses they go through. And sometimes it surprises me why our gender activists don't channel their energy towards getting these people from this, but rather want to fight the other gender. But that is a topic for another day.
We'll get deep into that. We'll get into a bit. I have one of our callers online. So, hello, Lariba, can you hear me? Okay, so yeah, Dr. Fanwell, please continue.
Okay, so like I was saying, these are social challenges they face. Some of them end up getting pregnant on the street, and they, not that they consent to the sexual activities, but there are guys on the street who are also finding ways to kill their sexual pleasure. And therefore, these are the preys they fall on. So these guys become predators to these young girls who are trying to make a living. So this is another social challenge they go through, which is something we have to look at and then find solutions to them. Aside that, they don't get access to education or getting themselves learn a trade. And I think this should be one of the key things the Ministry of Gender should be looking at. How do we include these street, no, let me not use the streets, but these ladies on the street who are finding ways to make ends meet. What are policies we have to put in place, which I would outline some of them when we get there. But these three are the major challenges I think they are facing on the street. The abuse, sexual and emotional abuse, lack of education, and then no shelter for them to live in. So you see most of them repeating the same clothes day in and out. It gets dirty, but that is what they have to live on.
Because they don't have any.
Because they don't have any. And that also have other skin diseases, it would live with them. So most often, if people are very observant, you get close to them, they don't have good skin. It's not because of anything, but because of the environment and the kind of debts they keep on themselves, because they have to go and pay and then get themselves washed down, and sometimes they don't make enough to cater for their little kids, especially those with children on the street, or to send back home. And so, okay, let me just be on the street and keep my money to cater for myself.
Okay, Dr. Fanwell, so with the point you just made, that because they lack all these social facilities that would have helped them, they are abused, and both emotionally they are abused, and then sometimes they are not even treated well, so their skins and stuff are challenged. Do you think that the institutions that, for instance, the National Youth Authority, the YEA, and all other state institutions, to what extent do you think they are failing or not to help deal with these challenges that the headquarters face?
I think they've not done enough, from my point of view, because we get the Ministry of Gender, and if we carefully look at it, their main agenda is to get women inclusion in governance. It becomes more of their agenda than looking at how to help the most vulnerable women. The Ministry of Gender is not solely for women, but it is made. We are made to believe that the world is a man's world, and therefore men can easily do with challenges such as these. So the women are the vulnerable ones. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. So what is being put in place to get these women lifted from where they are? Like, we're talking about one that has been able to get the chance, opportunity to go to school, and then is now working in one of the prestigious universities in this country. How many of them are we giving this opportunity? Beyond that, I think there could be programs designed to get them either learn a trade or going to school. But we don't have these programs being put in place. The last time I heard something being made for this Kayayie is when I was doing a project in Agbogloshi, where we went to where we had to go and put our prototype. We were told it's meant for the Kayayie to keep water, sachet water. They've been able to come put money together to build a pure water factory for these Kayayie to come pick, go and sell, and then the profit margin is quite okay for them to make a living. That in its way is a good initiative, but I think we can do better. We can do better. What is the NVTI, if I'm right, doing, the National Board for Vocational and Technical Training? What are they doing to help these people? Are we enrolling? We should start enrolling them in trades, learning of trades, because you even get people who are currently people who have completed the university who wants to learn a trade, because you can't actually, as it stands now, you can't rely just on one job to say, this is what I want to make a living from. So looking at it to the people on the street too.
Thank you very much, Fanuel. We'll come back to the discussion, but viewers, we just want to go for a commercial break, and don't forget this program is brought to you by Middle Productions. Middle Productions, anything sound, audio, or video. These services can be provided for you by Middle Productions, and we are supported by Acotech MSP, an IT company that specializes in all IT-related services. Stay tuned. I'll be back after the commercial break.
All of this, quality sound and video, all of this, yeah. All of this, wherever we dey go, you find us so we gon' light up the place, yeah. All of this, quality sound and video, all of this, yeah. All of this, wherever we dey go, you find us so we gon' light up the place, yeah. We the best, oh, no more stress, no, no, yeah, oh, better services, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Quality sound and video, all of this, yeah. All of this, wherever we go, you find us so we gon' light up the place, yeah.
Do you need that quality video for your TV, your YouTube and Facebook page? Talk to us. Mido Studios, experts in TV shows, virtual concerts, e-learning videos, reality show auditions, preaching, live band recordings and radio commercials. Call now for your booking on 0302 234087 or 0502 651282. Mido Studios, affordable prices awaits you.
Art, music, solutions, we teach all the instruments, the piano, the guitar, and drums. The trumpets available, you can learn sound engineering. So come, for we with specific music needs. Art, music, solutions, we teach all the instruments, the piano, the guitar, and drums. The trumpets available, you can learn sound engineering. So come, for we with specific music needs.
Contact us on 0303 400 435.
Music Solution School, meeting specific music needs.
About to the voice of the youth. As you may be aware, we have so far discussed some of the challenges that head porters, that we refer to as Kayayes, face in their routine work as they help many people carry their loads from one point to the other. We also mentioned that these head porters usually migrate from the northern parts of Ghana to the southern part of Ghana, especially Accra and Kumasi. And today, as you are aware, I've been joined by one of my regular guests, Dr. Fanuel, and he has expounded on what the challenges that the head porters face. He mentioned that some of them suffer from spine, or they have a spinal challenge. Some of them have waist problems, and they become so vulnerable to other health issues like cholera. When there's a cholera outbreak, they report most of the cases. And if it is about malaria, they are more vulnerable because the places they sleep and even where they sit to eat is not very conducive, it's very unhealthy. So in effect, it affects their health. And some of them, he mentioned that some of them even end up paralyzing at an early age, which actually affects their productivity and, of course, their economic turnout. We want to continue the discussion, and as you may be aware, it has been a one-on-one discussion so far because I want Fanuel to tell us more. So, Fanuel, we have looked at the challenges, as you mentioned, and I also think that, especially from the institutional point of view, I think that there is a gap between the state agencies or corporate organizations or some individuals who could have helped these young female head porters, who most of them even happen to be single mothers. Now, having established that we have these challenges that they face, what do you think are the impacts of the challenges they have on the society? Because if young people are struggling with their health, or they are struggling with even how to earn their money, does it have any impact on the nation and the society that we live in?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because
what are some of the impacts?
Most of these are the, say, the active economical youth of this country. These are youths that could be productive to add to the economical growth of the country.
Okay.
But they are now they've become burden on the society.
Okay.
And therefore, beginning from the fact where, since they'll depend, most of them would depend more on, say, the national health insurance.
Okay.
So if there's more dependency on this scheme, then it means that those who are working and paying taxes would have to pay more to get them enjoying these facilities.
Okay.
That's being aside, they have children on the streets.
Okay.
And though education from the basic to the secondary level now is free, but we would be asked, can they even afford the 3 daily meal for these kids to be able to get a conducive environment to study?
In other words, even a balanced diet.
A balanced diet.
Okay.
It's most of the challenges.
Okay.
So on the society, they've become burdens, and you and I indirectly take care of their society, let me say their social issues.
So, for instance, as you mentioned that most of them, the only health facility they can access is via the use of the national health insurance. So, and don't you think that even some of them do not even have the national health insurance card?
It's very possible, because there have been exercises to get most of them enrolled onto it. So it could happen that if we go to the streets now, we'd get some who don't have it.
Because preparing for this program, I spoke to quite a number of them just unconsciously. I just engaged them and then I asked them some few questions. And one of the ladies I spoke to actually mentioned that for her, she's been here for 8 months. She's been in Accra for 8 months. And so far, she's been able to raise money to pay for her younger brother who is in Tumu, who is schooling. And amazingly, she's been able to raise money to pay for her younger brother who is schooling in Tumu. Although he goes to school free of charge, but he has to get some other staffs to get him. But one of the things she mentioned is that I asked her, so if you fall sick, how do you attend to your health need? She has access to several herbs, so she can just boil them and stuff. I don't seem to undermine the effect of our herbal medicines. But some of them, because they don't even have the card, they end up not going to the hospital, not put pressure on the national coffers as far as funding of national health insurance scheme is concerned. What do you think are other challenges, the impact of their challenge has on the society?
So just like you were making, you made a submission now. It leads them to drug abuse. They start abusing drugs because those drugs are not prescribed for them to use for whatever condition they find themselves in. So they intend abuse the drug, and it leads to a lot.
You know something? There's an interesting point I want you to clarify from you as a health professional. I had engaged somebody who, when you say drug abuse, there is a certain level of education out there that when you say drug abuse, it's only limited to maybe those who take cocaine, weed, or those kind of. Can you help everybody? Yes, let's play the devil's advocate that we really don't know what is meant by drug abuse. What is drug abuse? In the very simplest term.
Okay, so drug abuse is simply, let me put it in a very simple form. It is using drugs that are not prescribed for you. And in a worst scenario, using it for situations that are not meant for that drug. So the very common one, which became a talk of the why am I forgetting this?
Is it
tramadol? Tramadol. The abuse of tramadol began on the street with some of these people. Because tramadol, in its way, is a painkiller. Tramadol is not like compared to cocaine and the others. It's a painkiller, like we talk of paracetamol and the rest, but it's a prescription painkiller. But because they get access to it and it kills their pain, gives them that needed strength to go on their daily activity, they keep taking it. They take it in excess and then they get other funny effects, and it becomes something. Okay, I tried it today and it worked. So let me try it tomorrow. The next day, and then before you realize, it becomes a normal routine. And then the young boys begin, and then it goes on, and that is where tramadol got to.
So Fano has just made us understand in a very simple term that drug abuse is where you use a drug that you have not been prescribed for, or a medical officer did not prescribe it for you, or even you have not. So you've not gotten it right. So just make sure that your medicines are well prescribed for you. There is a caller on the line. Can I? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, you are welcome to the Voice of the Youth. May I know who I'm speaking to?
So this is Dr. Yusuf.
Dr. Yusuf, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, it's good to have you on the line. Dr. Yusuf Yakubu is the medical director for
Kojak Medical
Center. Yes, okay. Doctor, please, we have been discussing so far the challenges that Kayayie or head porters face in Ghana. And I know you have run a project, that's Project Hope, that was concentrated on the Kayayies. Can you tell us some of the challenges they face, especially with your engagement with them?
Okay, I'll start by greeting your listeners and then those in the studio. I'm currently on my way back to Accra. I'm from the north, and it's been interesting. As far as the engagement with the Kayayies are concerned, with my travel, aside the other things I came to do, was also to see the possibility of how we could tackle the problem from here, because there are key challenges with engaging headquarters in the South.
Okay.
And we have been with them for the past 7 to 8 years, I think since 2011.
Okay.
I've been on projects involving Kayayie.
Okay.
And then some of the challenges are usually with developing and funding a very comprehensive approach to the Kayayie problem. It's either you get one component being resolved, like the issue of maybe skills training, and then another component which is very vital, like supporting them after the skills training with some resources is left out.
Okay.
Or you're able to get organizations that are ready to partner and support training with regards to behavioral change communication, but then the girls are also sometimes not available then because they travel within periods of a month or two and all of that. So these are some of the challenges that we face, so which actually calls for a more comprehensive approach to solving the menace of the Kayayie.
Headquarters, we are aware that they usually, like you mentioned, they migrate from the northern part of Ghana, usually to the southern part of Ghana. And what are, beyond the challenges you have outlined and shelter to these headquarters, do they have easy access to health, quality health, and do they have easy access to quality shelter and decent clothing?
Because of the poor level of education amongst these folks, they are not even able to bring themselves to take advantage of at least some little advantages of the national health insurance that we have. Aside that, a lot of them do a lot of self-medication back in their settlement, as main places in Accra would be Tema Station, Medina, Malata, Agbogloshi. These are areas. They largely do self-medication unless it gets very critical before you see them rush them to a hospital. And because most of them usually don't have health insurance, they end up spending a lot of money. For clothing, we all see how they look in the market. The clothing is nothing to write home about. Recently, there have been a spread, and you know I run a facility in the heart of Accra, so I get a lot of complaints from some of the girls I work with. They have a lot of issues of communicable diseases, like infectious diseases, skin-related diseases, which is spread easily. For example, scabies and the like. Recently, it's on the rise amongst them. Their living conditions are terrible. Where they keep their clothes, even the clothes are bad enough, and where they keep it is even worse. It's terrible, and all of this comes together to make the problem more complicated, such that if you are approaching these people to provide some sort of help, it has to be comprehensive. It has to cater for, at least to a reasonable extent, some of these lapses. So some of these lapses do not become a pull down for whatever intervention they're eventually wanting to introduce to them.
Okay.
So this is the little I can say with regards to that.
Dr. Yusuf, to what extent do they, well, let me even put it this way, to what extent have they been able to make the right reproductive choices, and what could be the reasons why they are or not?
This is specific to reproductive health choices, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, when it comes to issues on sexuality, we have tried coming from the angle of coming to their level and communicating with them. We all understand sexuality issues are usually like in a cupboard kind of issues. Nobody wants to talk about the kind of sex they want to have and how many children they want to give birth to. So, but me being a health professional kind of like placed me in a more advantageous position, because they come around and they talk to me. They, some of them, a few of them who had some basic education before coming down south, kind of like have an idea of what to do to prevent pregnancy, and then they have an idea of what to do in relation to preventing sexually transmitted infections.
Okay.
As to whether they will take a step to put it in practice is another thing, because they're actually very shy to even tell their boyfriends to, okay, make sure you use a condom or even going to the drugstore to get emergency contraceptive in case something had happened and they didn't protect themselves.
Okay.
What most of them run to these days, they come to me and request is, where can they do the 3 months, 2 months family planning? And I was hoping that along the line, if we could partner with organizations, maybe like Mary Stopes, I know they've done something like that in the past, we could develop educational material in their native languages, in a manner they understand, and then reach out to them so they get to appreciate better the reproductive choices that are available and which best suits who, as far as implementation or adopting is concerned.
Okay, Dr. Yusuf, I think I will come back to you again because we would like to know what the state agencies, individuals, and corporate organizations, or maybe NGOs. So let me take your voice. Let me pick your take on that. What do you suggest that the state agencies or corporate organizations or individuals should do or should come on board? In 60 seconds, can you suggest something, please?
Okay, let me quickly mention that one of the things we've noticed is lacking largely is the state agencies should assist largely with policy.
Okay.
Aside policy, infrastructural setup in the communities where these girls are from. Because the main reason why they come down south is to make money.
Okay.
So if they have facilities and setups in the north that employ people largely, I think it would drastically reduce the number of people who come down south. There are NGOs that are doing some things in the north, like Comfort and the rest are trying to send as much girls back to school. But then we know schooling, like formal education alone, cannot absorb all of them.
Okay.
Vocational training, and aside vocational training, a skills incubation and acceleration program to help them set up and run businesses, not just skills alone.
Okay.
Set up and run businesses in the north, and then government structures to assist these businesses will go a long way to keep most of them up north, since they'll be making the money they would have made if they had come down south, even in better conditions and closer to their families. This is the little I can add to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr.
You're welcome.
Yakubu T. Yusuf is the medical director for Kojak Medical Center and the CEO of Project Hope, a former NASAC president, former boss of Fanuel. So thank you very much, Dr. Yusuf, for sharing your views with us. We appreciate it. So, Fanuel, you heard your former boss, right?
Yes.
And you all went to the same medical school at KNUST. Now, Dr. Yusuf made some wonderful suggestions as well. He also mentioned that about what should be done, about government putting in place the necessary structures and facilities and stuff. What, in your view, do you think should be done to help female porters in the midst of the challenges that they face?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before I say that, I would say Dr. Yusuf is still my boss, because he's the president of HealthTVT, which is a health advocacy group, and I'm his research director. So he's still my boss.
Okay. He's still your boss.
So,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So you were asking what should be done.
Yeah, what do you suggest should be the way forward? Government agencies, corporate organizations, and individuals.
I would say this is more of a call to our corporate agencies than government, because government will come in, but the little government would not be enough. Over the years, every problem, we want to see government's intervention. We always want to be calling government. But yes, government needs to do something to help these young ladies and guys on the street. Let me say guys, because we have some headquarters who are guys too. So there are corporate organizations, those making huge monies in this country. A lot of them have the social corporate responsibilities. I think it's high time they start restructuring it into more social projects that we can measure and say, yes, these are what they did to help ABC people. A lot of them have their...
if you can run up for me so that, or if you can just hold your thoughts. I want to pick that one, but let me just pick a caller on the line. Hello, you are welcome to the Voice of the Youth.
Hello.
Hello, you are welcome to the Voice of the Youth.
Thank you.
Please, may I know who I'm speaking to?
That within the Lariba.
Oh, okay. Lariba, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, so Lariba is the PRO of the Headquarters Association of Ghana. Yeah. So Lariba, you mawakwaba.
Yes, sir.
Now what is saying?
Me pasha me huye.
Good. Now Headquarters ana saying a from Kayayie no problems ben na move face ana problem ben na move face ya opese oni share ewie. Obetimi aka bia kire ana.
Yeah,
Maukasa nkosoro kakra nti na bia obi abetimi ati oyiye wa.
Enkosoro.
Yo, enkosoro.
Okay.
Okay.
Problems I face here and betting I can and we are no say. First, I'm betting I munina.
Okay.
And no more say almost here and some munina.
Okay.
A problem I face me. I drew the say and medical I can say a drew compare time say ya. Politicians, you know, I almost try and throw too much.
Okay.
First, yeah, almost in some other done leaders, no swama. After the would you who cry, won't it? Ye bet me a fremo, and I bet me a radio, so I'm not serious to say, I dare say a person, a macayo for ye, the comacayo for, and I a macayo for. Unso ye hu ade no
Lariba kasa ni kosoro kakra wan na be mi ati oyiye wa Lariba yeah
okay ni me kan me san repeat ana me
oh and dey attend to aso
aha anti eno sana aya eba na sana lead omosi o radio to no aya omosi ya leaders no ye na ye ji sa ade na omudi promise na abate omo ya amaye ana omo be ya amaye no ye na ye ji aye mfa ma ye nuan mo a omo wo market no ana ni aka ho say challenges e wo mo pa no so baby ayeda no
I think she thinks you are not listening.
Lariba pacho mitio ai koso.
Okay. Baby ayeda no.
You.
Ye problem pa my.
Baby amudeda no. Okay.
Baby ayeda no ze yeda bontin. Aya every time the omotini ki say mosquito net na baby awuda no kwanye be faswa ube titire net no aye problem.
Okay.
Nsio tota unya baby nda se na awoye bayi ebi mu wodam kura awodi omu na wo awuda abonten.
Okay. Enti apart from say politicians ya omu twa mu ntro omu cast na omu ndi omu asem no so and omu di pressure at two more leaders no so and afa baby amudan apart from no so no the problem be na musa wo
problem say ya won say
viewers, we lost Lariba. Lariba mentioned Lariba is the PRO for the Headquarters Association of Ghana, and she mentioned that she mentioned two of the challenges that they face. One has to do with shelter, and the other one has to do with the challenges they face with politicians. She said politicians come to tell them a lot of things, and they promise them a lot, yet they do less or nothing about it, and they put pressure on the leaders. And so we are getting Lariba back online, and when she joins us, we would pick up the challenges and also ask her what she wants the government or state agencies to do to help them. But before that, let me just allow Fanuel to conclude your comments, please.
Yeah, so
so we're talking about what should be done.
Yes.
So you're talking about corporate organizations.
Yeah, so the corporate organizations should come in and then channel.
I understand Lariba is back.
Okay, so let's
Lariba.
Yeah.
Okay, Akwaba. Enti obetimia abobon so entema mamia problems na mo na fe wuya no mamia hu ni amu pese aban anase organizations anase nipa krankran betimia ye e dia bom na wa kan no so a kire me why.
Okay. As a line a break.
Yeah, be afide ye.
After the kakra.
But your full name here, Lariba then.
Lariba Kuriba. First, now you're Lariba Ibrahim, but me call back to my certificate.
Okay.
And Lariba Kuriba.
Okay. Okay, to us so.
And near your person, a buying ana angels now, or more or more, Mayeno. They say, yeah, Carophone, a dimu or more school, great tripa.
Okay.
Uncle Mubetinia, Anya, a buying Jumani Biaye.
Okay.
For example, I yet me apply police, fire service, immigration, so you bet, yeah, a do some I from for now, or more frey,
okay. More qualification, no.
But also,
more qualification, no, and sana more apply.
Aye.
Okay.
And you're moving so on, so I didn't person more to school, no, so.
Okay.
And I didn't want to and Kamunya and Samuel Juma or Mobile.
Okay.
And Samuel Juma Mobile, I beya, Mumma Yano, Sena Beya, Ebe Bois, and I Ebe Jena, my money Yano, Sena, Yam.
Okay. Oh, 1 minute now. I want to tell mommy why.
Okay. And I Juma Siana, make an I am 1 year.
Okay.
Any the force who was I can loan this say I no more year free mo.
Okay.
Yaba boy dia say yaba yemu say yaba mamu be ube dru adana yenti wo hwe.
Okay.
Nti no na ko ba na say leaders no na giye e na ya mfa ma omom we chire no.
Okay. Okay.
Nti aya ya pastor bibi say aya omo nkaye bi na ade omo be ka na pastor aya omo ndi so.
Yo, Lariba Kuriba, Yedawase, say, and ne only a British san Komoya, or my own problems are headquarters, and a move face, Afin, Yamupese, NGOs, any abine, and your mum. Yedawase, and may be baby my best afro, am I any wide in common? Yeah, we need chia for my why. So Fanwell, you heard Lariba, she outlined some things, but she mentioned that they need employment opportunities, they need the chance to get further education, they need vocation and the possibility of learning a trade for themselves. And they are calling for government and other leaders that whenever they make promises, they should keep their promises. And they also mentioned that when credit facilities are being made available for people to access loan, they are kind of maybe discriminated. They don't get a chance. So these are some of the calls made by the Headquarters Association of Ghana that they need these things to be put in place so that they can also feel better within the community they find themselves. Fano, can you quickly run up with me and give me your concluding remarks because we are running out of time?
Yeah, running up, I would say with loan facilities, I think this the financial facilities would want to look at how well they could maybe generate revenue and pay back the loans. So this could be an issue. But she made mention of joining the forces, the police, and I think we should look at, it's true, some of them are educated to the senior high school level. So we should find a quota which qualifies them to apply. So let's look at a quota system for them. If you say every year we have 10% reserved for Kayayes to join, it would be a good thing to take some of them away from the street. So it's an initiative the government should look at. Our corporate organizations should not stop investing in the entertainment industry, but also, as they do, should look at creating opportunities, because some of them are on the street who are very talented in the terms of entertainment. If I'm using my money for my corporate social responsibility is to invest in the entertainment industry, then let me carve a program that would fit this group of people also in, and then lift them from where they are, and also look at enrolling most of them in education. Then we look at the bigger picture of finding a way to establish accommodation for them. The shelter system, very cheap accommodation that they could afford, comfortable ones to take them off the street, because that was the very first thing she made mention, that where they sleep is a problem. So we should look at investing into that. Lots of organizations can come together. You see, in our part of the world, collaboration is very weak. So if we are getting maybe, excuse me to put some on the line, but to say MTN, Vodafone, Tigo, coming together and saying, okay, this year, our allocation for corporate social responsibility, we are all putting it together and say the telcos working in Ghana are establishing this number of rooms or beds for Kayayes to live in. I think it's a very wonderful project, and Ghanaians will appreciate it and come to it. This wouldn't say a customer on one network would be moving to other. No, it is a collaboration and would make us see that you are thinking about the Ghanaian as you are taking our money. You also want to do something for us.
Thank you very much, Fanwell. This were great. So let me just pick it from the last point he made. He mentioned that there is a need for collaborated effort among corporate organizations so that they can come on board and help the headquarters, or the people we refer to as Kayayes. And this has been the voice of the youth. So far, we have looked at the challenges that the headquarters face in Ghana. We understand that they have issues with reproductive health choices. We have issues with where they sleep, and they virtually are not very conducive environment for them. So we have called that policy should be put in place. There should be facilities in wherever they are coming from so that they can even stay there and access these facilities, educational facilities, health facilities, or what have you. They are also strongly calling on government and other agencies that when they make promises to them, they should keep the promises. Especially the leaders get worried because they feel, their members feel that they have gone for some money and they have kept it. And I know how it feels like, especially in my days as a NUCS president. It is always possible. And they also call for job opportunities. And Fanwell made the suggestion that, if possible, there should be a quota system for them so that in terms of the security services, when they are recruiting, they can be given such quotas so that they can get a job. And the possibility of furthering their education should be made available. And these are some of the issues that were raised. And I wanted to say thank you to you, Fanwell. You've done awesome, and I really appreciate you coming. And I want to say thank you to my followers and viewers and all those who have consistently followed the Voice of the Youth and other programs. We want to say thank you very much. Lariba, Kariba, I want to say thank you very much for making time. Dr. Yusuf Yakubu, thank you very much for joining by phone and making your contributions. And to the crew, my director, Dominic Ansansari, thank you. Abel, thank you. Edmond, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Maswell, thank you. Pate, Abigail, thank you. Miss Asante, thank you all for the great job you are doing behind the scene. And I also want to say thank you to Architect MSP for supporting this program. This program is brought to you by Middle Productions, and it comes on Mondays from 12 to 1 p.m. On this same platform, on Wednesdays, comes a program also produced by Middle Productions, and that is Chere Wadwin. That comes to you from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. From 11 a.m. to 12 noon. You know, I'm coming to talk about Thursday, so I just jump into Thursday's time. So Chere Wadwin is on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, hosted by Naicha. And then on Thursday, you are hosted by DJ Hambo. He is the only DJ and the rest in Ghana. And he hosts you on Thursdays on Throwback Thursday Bash from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. All this program comes to you on this same platform, Middle Productions Facebook page, and also on Middle TV on YouTube. Until I come your way on Monday, and let me tell you this, next week Monday, we are going to look at agribusiness and youth engagement. How are youth actively involved in agribusiness, and how are they taking advantage of the situation to earn income for themselves, to develop themselves and the nation as well. But until then, stay safe. COVID-19 is real. And if you want to advertise on this program or any of the programs, please contact us. They are very appreciable. Our calls are very appreciable, and you can afford it. Thank you so much. This has been the Voice of the Youth, and I am your host, Kayayie.